Hi everyone. So I'm in my garage. Just wanted to try to come out and share something that the Lord put on my heart. This morning I had a hard time getting on here and releasing it. It's just been kind of hectic, but I'm going to go through this quickly. I understand now why it was so hard. There's a bee flying around me. Getting it out because there's a second part to it. That I just had the realization of, and I'm going to share that at the very end. Okay, so I woke up this morning, and typically I've been coming on here because God's been speaking to me just really thick. So, especially in the morning, He'll put a specific word on my heart, but this time it was the name Jehoshaphat. And I don't just contemplate on my bed Hebrew names, and I just kept hearing it recurringly, Jehoshaphat, Jehoshaphat. Well, if we look in 2 Chronicles chapter 20, we know who Jehoshaphat is. Jehoshaphat, the name means God has judged, and he was the fourth king in Judah. He had made a decision while reigning that put him in a bad alliance at first, so maybe he didn't have complete trust over the people when it came maybe to a decision, or but they had gained word that the Moabites and the Amorites were going to attack the people. So he ends up calling all the nations together and tells them to start fasting. And he goes before Solomon's temple and also starts praying. And it said they stood still and they were waiting on an answer from the Lord. And a prophet, spoke up from the community who was a Levite, Jehaziel. And he ended up saying, basically telling the people, it said that the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and it said to, that basically for Judah to hear, for the inhabitants to hear, and for King Jehoshaphat to hear as well, that the battle was not theirs, but that the battle was God's. And so it goes on that ended up coming to fruition. The Levites, I believe the genealogy of the Levites, they were really strong into praise and worship. So King Jehoshaphat decided to put the praise and worship team at the forefront of the army. And Jehaziel, the prophet who spoke out from the community, he wasn't a commander. I don't want to say that he was nobody, but God used Jehaziel's voice God spoke through him. So, So they send out the praise and worship team, the Levites actually, if I'm correct on that one. And the Moabites and Amorites turned on each other, and they actually killed each other off. So, and what I found really interesting is that for 3 days, they were able to get all the gold, all the spoils of war, and on the fourth day they celebrated. So it was almost like God was giving double for their trouble. And the Hebrew people had a chance coming out of Egypt to attack the Moabites and the Amorites, but they held their peace. So I really felt like God went before them, and they really hearkened to the Lord's voice. And, that was through the prophet of Jehaziel. So, how they plundered or how they got the spoils of war, it reminded me in Proverbs 13:22, where it says, the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. But this is the second part that's really, really interesting. in Israel, there is the Valley of Jehoshaphat, or the Valley of Decision. And if you go over to Joel chapter 3, it mentions how God was going to call many nations into the Valley of Decision, or the battle, or the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Well, if you see everything kind of going on in the news, the U.S. Embassy made the decision to move to Jerusalem. And since then, Guatemala and Paraguay have also made the decision to move their embassies they have made the decision to move their embassies also to Jerusalem. So I'm going to try my best to show you guys, because also God gave me a word over Joel chapter 3 not too long ago. And I'm going to show you my notes. So there's a lot of notes in between now and then, but it mentions Joel chapter 3, verse 16. So not only is the Lord putting on my heart Jehoshaphat, but he had also put on my heart how the Lord would roar from Zion and thunder from Jerusalem. So I think right now we are definitely witnessing Joel chapter 3. But this definitely has multiple layers kind of going on with that. Specifically whenever I was reading Joel chapter 3 previously, I woke up one morning and there was thunder outside, and the Lord said his thunder roars before him. So it matched up perfectly with the Lord will roar from Zion and thunder from Jerusalem. The earth and the heavens will tremble, but the Lord will be a refuge for his people, a stronghold from Jerusalem. And so, yeah, I just wanted to come on and share what the Lord was putting on my heart during this time, Jehoshaphat, and how the Lord will roar from Zion and thunder from Jerusalem. So I just thought that was interesting, and just to come on here and again just share that. But just know that the battle is the Lord, and all we have to do is stand. Praise and worship music is always great too. He surrounds the praises of his people. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.